How's it going, guys? So, my intention is to make this one short and to the point. Let's hope I can do that. We'll see what happens. Got a nightcap here. Chaim l'chaim. Seagull Free Run. Very nice wine. Merlot, I think. So, I'll tell you guys, it's a miracle. I'm living in a miracle. I'm sitting here in this neighborhood of Jerusalem called Abu Tor. Some of my neighbors are UN employees, some of my neighbors are Arabs. I saw some of them run down the street yesterday after kind of this, I would call, tribal altercation with some settler kids about a block away from my house. Yeah, and that was that. And it's been pretty quiet. Bli Ayin Hara. It's been pretty quiet in this neighborhood, but I can't say the same for other cities in Israel. And I don't know if some of you guys have seen, there have been videos circulating on WhatsApp. Places like Tveria, Tiberias, places like Bat Yam, Haifa, where you see, and this happened tonight by the way, where you see an Arab trying to ram groups of people with his car, and then those people somehow, the Arab runs into another car. He is immobilized, let's say, or his car is immobilized. He is pulled out of his car and he is beaten within an inch of his life by people. And I'm going to tell you something about those people, my friends. Honestly, I'm not for violence. I'm not for any kind of violence, whether it's coming from Arabs or whether it's coming from Jews. What I am for is self-defense. And I'll tell you guys something. It was one thing when Arabs were taking their cars and running them into, citizens of Jerusalem and citizens of Judea and Samaria, primarily religious people, families, some rabbis, I don't know, whoever, defenseless people. It's quite another where you have a situation in what I like to call regular Israel, places like Rishon, Netanya, Tveria, or Yehuda, Migdal HaEmek, Afula, Nahariya. I could just go on and on and on and on. And I'll tell you guys, the people that I'm talking about, the people that I'm referring to, who, are defending themselves in these situations, they are the group of people that comprise at least half of the Jews in this country. I'm talking about Mizrahi and Sefardic Jews. Some of them, I don't like to use this term, some of them are going under the category or rubric of what's called Arsim. They're kind of the Guidos of Israel. They're like the people that you saw on the program, what was it? Jersey Shore in the States, so they're kind of like the Jersey Shore of Israel, right? Except slightly different, right? And what people forget, or people maybe don't understand, definitely American politicians, Democrats don't understand. Many Jews in America don't understand because primarily they're Ashkenazi. I mean, there are obviously Sephardic Jews who live in America, but people forget. And Arabs maybe get it, but they've forgotten that the people I'm referring to, Sephardic Jews, Mizrahi Jews, their grandparents came here on foot, primarily on foot, from Muslim countries where they lived as second-class citizens, or what's called in Islam dhimmis, Dhimmi, if you guys want to look up what a dhimmi is. And they experienced pogroms and all kinds of persecution. You're talking about places like Morocco, Iraq, Algeria, Libya, Egypt as well, in modernity, Lebanon, Syria, what else? Where else? Iran, they've escaped. Yemen, it's a whole other story. So I'll tell you guys, these people, I'm going to quote a certain rabbi. I'm just going to paraphrase or quote a certain rabbi. These people, first of all, they are the last normal people untouched by college professors. They, or their grandparents, lived with Arabs or Muslims. They lived under Arabs, literally under, meaning if an Arab has a horse, a Jew has to have a donkey. If an Arab has a mosque this high, a Jew has to build a synagogue this high. He cannot build a synagogue this high because a mosque is this high. Everything an Arab Muslim has to be higher than what the Jew has. This is in those countries. This was at that time. I don't know what it is today, but it was at that time. Okay? These people live under Arabs. They never will do this again. They will never want to do this again. And I'll tell you guys something. I mean, I watched a couple of these videos from Tveria, from, Bat Yam. Again, I'm not advocating violence. I'm not sitting here and saying that this is, like, I'm cheering this on and whatever. I'm not. This was very graphic. I wish it didn't have to happen. But I'm telling you guys, and I've been saying this for a while, do not mess with these people. Do not mess with Moroccans, don't mess with Iraqis, don't mess with Tunisians. Jews, don't mess with Libyan Jews, don't mess with Algerian Jews. Just Yemenite Jews, don't mess with these people. Whatever Arab messes with these people in any of these towns, I mean, I'll tell you guys something. I feel sorry for that. I feel sorry for that guy. He doesn't know what he got himself into. And based on these videos, my friends, I mean, they really don't know what can of worms they're about to open with the Sephardic population in this country. They just don't understand. And if they do understand, they forgot. I don't know, maybe their parents or grandparents, their older generation of these Arabs who are not involved in this nonsense, maybe they forgot to tell them. I don't know. I don't know what they're telling them, what they're not telling them. They're about to get if they haven't already, a very rude awakening, a very painful wake-up call, my friends. Again, I'm not advocating violence. I don't want this to come to this. But I've been watching these videos on WhatsApp, and that's what happens. That's what happens. These people were told stories by their grandparents, even by their parents. This is how life was in Morocco under Mahmoud and Ahmed and Mustafa. This is how life was in Iraq. This is how life was in Lebanon. This is how life was in Algeria and Libya and all these other places, and in Yemen as well. And these were the stories that they grew up on as they sat and ate their Moroccan fish on Shabbat with their grandparents before they got in their car and drove on Shabbat. But they made kiddush and they ate their Moroccan fish and their kibbeh. Okay? Baruch Hashem, I love the food. My favorite. Okay? And they sat every Friday night and they listened to the story of grandfather Rahamim, okay? And grandfather this and grandmother that, and Saba and Safta, telling them the stories of how they lived under Muslim rule in these countries until the 40s, until the 50s, and then they came to Israel and they lived in tents. The tents that were given to them, or they were forced into by the Ashkenazi, secular, wonderful people, Ben Gurion, okay? And they put up with it, and they were proud to be here, and they were happy to be here, and they got out of, they dusted themselves off, they got out of those tents. There's a very famous center in Atlit, Israel, where the Yemenites stayed. I forget the name of the place. I was there a few months ago, visiting. And they got out of that area, of those areas, those tents, and they went on to build a life for themselves in the land of Israel and for their kids and for their grandkids. And now they are the people that vote for Bibi. And I'll tell you guys something. By the way, after this election and after all the stuff that's happening right now with the Arabs, mark my words, these people that were, and I was just telling this to my friend who was a Bibi supporter, the people that you see, the Sephardic Jews in Machaneh Yehuda over here, who were screaming, Bibi Melech Israel, when Bibi came to campaign, these are the people that are going to now, if there's going to be another election, they're going to vote for, guess who? People like Smotrich and Ben Gvir, and maybe Jonathan Pollard if he runs with them. They are done, my friends. But these are the mainstream, this is mainstream Israel. This is regular, normal Israel. Masorti, traditional people whose families hail from Muslim countries. Jewish people who will never, ever, ever, ever live under Muslim rule again if they can help it. And I'll tell you guys again, some of the videos I've seen today on WhatsApp, in Bat Yam and Tveria and other places, they will help it. And you don't want it to go there, my friends. You really, it's just, I wish it didn't have to be this way. I wish it didn't have to go to this place. But unfortunately, this is what our cousins have pushed, this segment of society into. This is what's happening now. This is where we're at. Okay? So I just wanted to let you guys know, in case anybody has been living in an illusion or even worrying that we lose the state or lose our country, I will tell you guys, there are millions of people, Jews, of a certain, cultural demographic and background that will fight. They have no, I don't want to say they have no conscience. They don't have these politically correct sensibilities. They understand who the enemy is. They understand the threat. They understand very well what was done to their grandparents and even their parents. And they don't think twice. They do not think twice. They don't apologize for a damn thing. You can come to them with media cameras, with your Khan and your Ynet and your channel 12 and 13 and 2 and 1 and Shman. They don't care. They will tell you the same thing. My grandfather lived in Morocco, in Iraq, Yemen, and I'm not doing this again. I'm not... Homie, don't play that. Okay? That's it, guys. I don't know if that was short, but it was definitely to the point, I hope. If anybody has any questions, speak now. Or listen to this video again and again, in case you didn't get something. Alright, guys. Wednesday night. Hopefully everything will be quiet. Continue to be quiet, at least here. Everybody should be safe. And, yeah, guys. The people who want us out of this land, they really don't know the can of worms that they just opened. They really do not know. Again, it's not a threat and it's not a wish. It's just reality. That's it, guys. Alright. Talk to you soon.